down 1,000 times. I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I'm standing right here. Demons all around, but I ain't got no fear.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Roberts, the fantasy football counselor, and we are doing my favorite episode of the season, top 10 fantasy football running backs. And it wouldn't be as great without fantasy's first lady, Gwen. Welcome to the show. This one's a banger. I'm excited to talk running backs, and everybody is. Are you ready to dive into this?
I'm very ready.
I'm excited. So we're talking top 10 running backs. You've got the list here for us. We're going to talk about that. There's some news with running backs as well. Jonathan Taylor drama going on right now. We're going to talk a little bit about that, contract stuff, everything you need to know for the top running backs, those early round running backs. Remember, it's robust or bust. You got to load up on those running backs early because this position is scarce. This position has problems, and you want to make sure you have the right running backs. Before we get into this, make sure you guys do secure the 16-round draft solution. Use code SMASH to save. Sleepers, breakouts, optimal players drafted each round. Secure the solution, secure the championship. Go do that right now. And Gwen, it's very important to me. I don't know if it's as important to you, but we want more thumbs up. So smash thumbs up, lion thumbs up for Gwen, for me, and maybe, just maybe, if you're lucky, and if Gwen is lucky, Connor may make an appearance. Connor, the leader of the Conchichas, could be here. Are you excited about that, Gwen? I know you are.
I think I'm out of luck. So just like the Colts are.
Hold on a second. You're not excited to see Connor?
I'm really not. I'm not excited to see him. I'm feeling not so lucky. So hopefully he doesn't make an appearance.
All right. So let's dive into these top 10 running backs. We're going to work from 10 all the way down to 1, giving you my favorite running back. Now, this is non-consensus, non-Conchichas. So the list you see from everybody else is going to be CMC, Ekeler, and so on and so forth. This is different. This is kind of like how I would draft them if I saw them show up on the board, okay? It's non-consensus. It's the guys that I feel should finish in the top 10. And again, things change. Rookies could come in. Like I just heard today, Alexander Madison limped off. I don't think it's serious. Maybe a Dwayne McBride comes up, and that's another sleeper we talk about in the 16-round draft solution. Dwayne McBride, right? Stash him. He's a sleeper. I'm not sold on Madison being that full workhorse. He was always a backup. So things happen. Other guys, things shift. They could slide in the top 10. So I make those adjustments as if that were to happen. For example, last year, everyone had DeAndre Swift as a top 8 back. He busted. Dalvin Cook outside the top 10. So this is non-consensus. Gwen, are you ready to dive in here? I've been talking so much. The energy is here. It's August, early August, fantasy football draft season. I'm excited to go. Let's dive into it.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And I'm more excited about how the Cowboys are looking right now with Dak looking like he's in midseason form, throwing picks in practice, and Ronald Jones being suspended for 2 games coming up. So I'm very excited this week too.
Isn't that funny though? Ronald Jones gets suspended for what? Performance enhancing drugs?
Yeah.
It always gets me when running backs that don't perform are in trouble for performance enhancing. How do you even justify that? There's no performance enhancing happening.
That's
right?
funny. Yeah, that's very true.
The guy sucks. Years to wow me, Gwen, and we're not wowed.
Wowed.
All right,
same with Dak Prescott.
And I know you're excited when Dak throws picks and the Cowboys fall. And we'll see how they do this year. I do like the Eagles better in that division. And don't be surprised if the Giants take a step up this year. But yeah, Eagles should have that division locked up with ease, I would think, on paper.
Yes, I hope so. That's my team.
All right, so who is we're going to go top 10 running backs. We're going to go 10 down to 1. So who is the first running back here that I love on my list?
Yeah, so the first one on your list is Austin Ekeler. Ekeler's entering his 7th season with the Chargers, and they're They're high flying offense led by Justin Herbo Time, right? Brent, that's our follower that calls him that. Yeah, so he's went for over 1,500 yards from the scrimmage in 3 of the last 4 years with a career best of 1,637 yards, and he's leading the charge of upset running backs at the market, but obviously he has a huge chip on his shoulder coming into this year. So what do you think about him?
Yeah, this is a guy, if you've been following the channel, I'm not a big fan of Austin Ekeler, right? And the thing about it is this, like last year had this pinnacle year, 127 targets. This put him 17th amongst wide receivers. He was like tied with Mike Evans or in and around that range. So when I look at a guy like Austin Ekeler this year, Gwen, I'm looking at a guy who's just in a position yet again to succeed. Less checkdowns. Joe Lombardi's not there. They brought in Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator, Quentin Johnston drafted round 1. I keep talking about this. The only thing that's going for him is that they didn't draft another person that's going to come in and steal the volume. Now, Isaiah Spiller could take a step up this year. It's going to dip into the volume. But at the end of the day, because Spiller never got a chance last year, at the end of the day, when I look at a guy like Austin Ekeler, he's got the opportunity. He's still going to get the goal line work. He's still going to be relevant. And I couldn't deny the fact that, he's there. Now, the difference here, Gwen, is that everybody has him as a top 2 running back. I don't believe in that. I think the decline is there, and there's 9 other running backs I would rather have over Austin Ekeler. I'm going to be fading him in round 1. And it's not even about rankings. Rankings, I hate rankings, Gwen. I'm doing this for entertainment purposes. I'm doing this because it gets a lot of clicks. All right, that's number 1. And number 2, I'm doing this because I love talking running backs, and I have to lay it out as if I were to draft them. But it would never fall because Austin Ekeler would never fall as a 10 running back. Does that make sense? He would never fall to the 2nd or 3rd round, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So basically, I'm not drafting him, but I definitely think he still could finish as top 10. That makes sense.
That makes sense.
All right.
Next one on your list is Breece Hall.
Breece Hall.
So, yeah. And that's a guy who was looking like he was going to be offensive rookie of the year before he got injured. And he's also coming into his 2nd year recovering from a season-ending injury, but it was a torn ACL, I think. So what do you think of him?
At the time of this recording, I'm having some problems, Gwen. I'm having some serious problems because Dalvin Cook is with the Jets. I don't know if you saw the video I posted. It was Dalvin Cook hanging out with the Jets. They're talking and flirting with Dalvin Cook. That to me is a concern. So at the time of this recording, it's early August. Dalvin Cook has not been signed at the time of this recording. If it stays that way, Breece is in the top 10 easily. Now, Dalvin Cook gets hurt all the time, but he's good enough to be a pest and take the volume. Here's my guess here on the situation. What I think happens is Dalvin Cook gets brought in, hopefully not, gets brought in, and he's basically splitting carries. So Breece Hall midseason gets into that form where he's running a full force. So they're there to take that load off. Or unless the Jets know something that we don't, that Breece isn't completely not, ready. But based on talent, based on the team, based on Dalvin Cook not being there, easily top 10 back, averaged 5.8 yards per carry last year, only played 7 games, had 80 attempts, just under 500 yards. He's the man, and he's ultra explosive. This is why I love this guy. So when I look at a guy like Breece Hall, sky's the limit. I got to put him in the top 10, assuming Dalvin Cook doesn't, and hopefully it doesn't end up there. That's what we want here, Gwen. We cannot have Dalvin Cook ending up there. It would be absolutely catastrophic.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, moving on here.
Next one, Damion Pierce. So Damion is coming into his 2nd year in the league with high expectations. And after week 10, he was being talked about as offensive rookie of the year, as a candidate for offensive rookie of the year with top 5 rushing numbers. And then he kind of fizzled out for a few games before he hurt his ankle. So what are your thoughts on Damion?
I love him, and I'm the only one that's got him in the top 10, and a big part of that is opportunity. Listen, they improved the offense. C.J. Stroud's been added. They added some receivers. They've actually got some decent receivers. John Mechie coming back from his cancer diagnosis. Hopefully he comes back healthy. He's good to go. Watched a bunch of videos on him. His route running looks phenomenal. So when I look at a guy like Damion Pierce, I look at volume, I look at opportunity, I look at talent and heart. I mean, last year, just under 1,000 yards, 939 yards, 4.3 yards per carry, only 4 touchdowns. That's going to go up. That shows there's a ceiling there. 220 attempts in only 13 games on a terrible offense. The fact that you can run and they have no wide receivers to spread everybody back is absolutely a good telling tale that this guy is ultra elite talent and easily a top 10 guy. So again, outside the top 10, sitting, I don't know where he's sitting, like 17th, 18th. He's coming off in like round 4, which is absolutely ludicrous. Again, a big part of that is people skeptical and pessimistic and negative, whatever the word is, about this offense, okay? And I'm not concerned. I got him here at 8. The upside's there. The ceiling's there. I'm absolutely excited about Damion Pierce to the moon. Give him the opportunity. Now, Gwen, I don't know if you know this, but Devin Singletary has had years to wow me, and I'm not wowed, and that's his backup. So Devin Singletary, not really concerned.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay.
You got here?
Next
7.
guy. Next one is Jahmyr Gibbs, who I love. We both do. And I think the Lions shocked a lot of draft analysts in the draft this year by selecting him 12th overall. I think most saw him as a late first to early second round talent, but the Lions loved him. I love the Lions offense this year. I think he'll be getting the ball a ton through the air and on the ground. And oh no. And he made his way to the league. I'm going to ignore him for a second. He made his way to the league by way of Alabama after transferring there after spending 2 years at Georgia Tech. So what are your thoughts, Connor and Joe?
Like Connor has stepped into the studio.
Connor's made an appearance.
He's made an appearance here. He's not saying much, but he's on camera. Connor, what is going on here? Usually you jump on here pretty aggressive and you're not saying anything. Well, what kind of list is this? This is total BS. This is not consensus. First and foremost, Austin Ekeler is actually the second running back off the board, and you guys are all full of it, especially Gwen and your red dress on. I don't like it. It doesn't match my beautiful white coat.
It's a shirt, Connor, but why don't you like my shirt?
I don't like it at all. I don't like the Kelser, and I don't like this list. It doesn't follow the herd.
All right. Well, you can go away now and then let him and I discuss this list since you don't like it.
Connor, I mean, this abrupt interruption does not help the show. I mean, some people are enjoying your cameos. Why wouldn't they? I'm the greatest of all time. You're actually not a goat. You're actually a sheep, Connor. And this list is not based on consensus rankings. It's actually based on logic and common sense. So we appreciate you coming on here, but we're going to have to let you go now. I'm not going anywhere until Connor and everybody, my name is known across the entire fantasy community as the greatest analyst of all time. Is that okay with you, Gwen? Is that okay?
No, I think you need to go now.
All right. Bye, everybody. This list sucks, but I'll be back some other time. All right, Connor. Well, that's enough for him. I mean, some people have been asking for the cameo with Connor, so he had to make an appearance here on the Top 10 Running Back show. I was hoping he wouldn't show up, but he can't be denied.
Yeah, right. He clearly cannot.
So Jahmyr Gibbs, I don't know what it is. Like, this guy, like, there's certain players, Gwen, that get me giddy. This guy is it. Right, I look at his college numbers, just had under 1,000 yards last year, 44 receptions in college, 5'11", 200, was drafted in the first round. Again, if you look at what everybody did last year, including Connor, the Kinshipus, they all had DeAndre Swift. This is my perfect explanation for Jahmyr. Stick with me on this. Okay. Everybody had DeAndre Swift as a top 8 back. I said Swift sucked last year. He sucks. He's not that good. Injury prone, can't finish the season, blah, blah, blah. And he sucked. He busted. Jahmyr Gibbs is better. I just know he is. Again, you can say we only watch a tape. He hasn't played in the NFL. I know. But he's so much better. And obviously the Lions see something because they actually, got him with their first pick. They shocked everybody because they need to address other needs, but they got Jahmyr Gibbs, okay? So the fact that they did that shows, high confidence in his ability. And don't take my word on it. Take the word of $1 billion organization to draft him in the first round. And then you watch a tape. So what I'm saying is this. I'm getting a better running back, and I can get him in round 3. And I've got him in all my leagues. So this is the guy. He's kind of like my ride or die kind of guy. You can get a guy you can get a Lions running back who's better than Swift in the 3rd round. I mean, this is a steal. I mean, I don't get it. I know Montgomery's there. He could steal some goal line work, but I love him. I'm excited. I mean, did you end up spending some time watching some tape?
Yep. I've watched his tape, and I love the Lions. I've talked about them, or at least I love the Eagles, but I love the Lions offense this year for fantasy specifically. So yes, I agree with you 100% on this.
I'm all over it. I'm absolutely all over Jahmyr Gibbs, and some people call him Jamar Gibbs. I actually messed up. I was at the National Sports Collectors Convention, and I was asking people who their first overall pick is, first overall pick, and some guy said Jahmyr Gibbs. I was thinking, Jamar Gibbs. And I was thinking like Jamar Chase. And I said, as long as Joe Burrow stays healthy. But he actually said Jamar Gibbs instead of Jahmyr Gibbs. But just because he said Jamar and it was a first round pick, I naturally, my brain defaulted to like Jamar Chase. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Anyway. Well, it's funny too, because you also pronounced Bijan correctly on that video too, I saw.
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't, because I knew people would be like, oh, why are you saying? I just wanted to focus on the task at hand, which was, and it's funny because one of my listeners came up to me, approached me, and I asked him, who was your first overall pick? He goes, Bijan. And he should have said Bijan. So technically he was wrong. But either way, it was a fun time at the National Chicago. Check out my Instagram on footage of that. All right, Jahmyr Gibbs coming at number 7. Who do we have here coming at number 6?
Okay, so I've made comments about him before. I love Nick Chubb. So it's Nick Chubb. And I think I made comments on the previous show, like having
Why,
a chubby for Chubb.
why
I
do you
think
love him, Gwen? Why do you love Nick
he
Chubb?
just somehow continues to get better year after year. In 5 years, he's missed only 8 games, and he had a career year last year, posting season personal best in attempts and yards and in touchdowns. So I've talked about him on multiple shows, and I just absolutely love him. So what about
Yeah.
you?
The sky's the limit here. Obviously, the big knock to him I had for years was literally because Kareem Hunt is there. And I didn't like that split. I didn't like Kareem Hunt coming in, taking the balls, like 50, it was like a 50-50 split, right? The receiving game, right? Now with Nick Chubb, I mean, I looked at what he did last year, 302 attempts, 1,500 yards, and there's really no competition. They brought in they drafted Jerome Ford. I think he was the 7th round pick. Like that's his only backup, I think, there. There's nobody else there. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Jerome Ford was like a 7th round pick or something like that. Finished 6th last year amongst running backs. Got about 12 touchdowns last year. So he's the goal line guy. He's the early down guy. He's the volume guy. Now there's one little caveat here. You got to compete with
Uh-oh.
Watson. If you guys don't know, it's an ongoing joke. Deshaun Watson massage voice there. I mean, Deshaun Watson is going to steal some goal line work, but I'm not really concerned. He's going to steal some volume running. But again, I'm not concerned of Deshaun Watson. So Nick Chubb is the man. End of first round, early second pick. You cannot deny the fact that this guy is going to get the volume he's going to eat. So I like him. I got to put him in here. And at the end of the day, I was not a fan because of Kareem Hunt, and we've moved on from that. So let's keep it going here. Magical Twinkle. Who do we got? I'm doing the halfway point here.
We have Najee Harris.
Najee Harris. How are your
Yeah.
feelings about Najee and the Steelers offense? You got to be excited with the addition of the improved O-line with Broderick Jones. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Najee, he didn't have the year people were expecting last year due to his injury, but he finished really strong in the second half of the year after he was healthy and that steel plate was removed from his foot. And I think I mentioned in a previous episode, in the final 9 games, he averaged 20 touches and 90 yards from scrimmage with 7 touchdowns. So I think he's really going to be great this year coming in healthy.
Right. I think a lot of people forget about the steel plate and the messed up foot last year, and then the lack of the improved O-line. Pickens just made an incredible catch. I don't even know if I could pull it. Did you see that, Pickens?
I saw it.
I don't even know where I can find it, but I gotta find it. It's everywhere. I mean, if you're following any sports channels, you'll see it. George Pickens. But at the end of the day, it's like now they're improved, they're settled in. Kenny Pickett's now finally integrated into his offense. Great coaching with Mike Tomlin. Workhorse upside here with Najee. But again, here's the problem. Everybody buys that recency bias. Oh, he had a mediocre season. Mediocre this, mediocre that. Finished 14th on a really bad year, right? His yards per carry is lackluster, running 3.8, 3.9 yards per carry is kind of what's hindering people. But they're forgetting his rookie year, 1,200 yards. He was a workhorse, got a ton of volume. He's only getting better, working towards a contract. And listen, I love the upside here with Najee Harris. And I'm excited. I don't know what else to tell you. The volume's there. End of second round pick. I feel like super safe with him. I don't feel like, the sky's the limit, but I feel like he's just going to get a lot of volume and I'm super safe.
Okay. I agree with you on that.
Moving on here. Breaking news. Not really breaking news, but we're moving on to the 4th pick. Who do we have here at number 4?
Derrick Henry. So he's coming off another season where he ran yards, and as mentioned before, this is the 3rd time in the last 4 years that he's done this. He was healthy last year, and I think he hopes to carry that health into this year. So what do you think about him?
Sorry, you cut off there. How many yards did he run? When you said that, it cut off, but you could...
okay. Yeah, he's coming at 1,500 yards. He ran for over 1,500 yards for another season. So I think I said on previous episodes, this is the 3rd time in the last 4 years he's done that.
That's right. Yeah, he's the king and he's the volume king at the end of the day. And I've talked about this in other shows. I'm going to talk about it here again. My only concern what is your gut telling you? Is he going to have one last hurrah? Does he have one more year left with him with this volume? They drafted Tajay Spears, who was a workhorse in college as well. Is this his last hurrah? Is this the end of Derrick Henry? Or is it the end of Derrick Henry, or is it one last boom 300 attempt type season? That is yet to be seen. Now, I do like the addition of Hopkins there, spreading things out, opening things up, him and Burks, on the outside. What do you think? What's your gut telling you? Derrick Henry, boom type of year, or Derrick Henry fading off into the sunset and actually busting this year and just not performing? What's your gut telling? Because nobody knows. What would your best guess be if you had to guess? Boom or bust?
I think boom.
Okay.
Think boom still. I think he's got at least another year in him.
Yeah.
And I think it'll help having Hopkins.
Yeah, that's what got me excited. And I heard just now, because again, when Levis came in, he was having some accuracy issues. I heard lately Will Levis is actually looking good in practice, looking sharp. That's good news as well for Derrick Henry and the Titans offense. If you're a Tennessee Titans fan, good things ahead. You might have a franchise quarterback. We don't know. You don't know what you don't know. I can't express to you how I'm excited about the season. It's so close, Gwen. We're like, a month away or something like that?
Yeah, we are. And college football starts even sooner than that. So I'm excited for Penn State, which is the next player that we have was a Penn Stater, Saquon Barkley.
The Bark is got paid what, 11 million or something plus 2 million incentives, something like that.
Yeah, you got like
1 year contract.
Million. Yeah, so Saquon's coming off a great comeback year where he was able to stay healthy this last year. I think he did really well in Daboll's new offense, and he had over 250 total touches for over 1,600 yards. And then, like you said, he signed that 1 year extension after the Giants franchise tagged him. I think he's going to prove his value this year and get something long-term, hopefully, if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, I think it's proving time for Derrick Henry. I think this is the year, Saquon Barkley. I'm still on Derrick Henry. I think proving year for Saquon Barkley yet again. And we're talking about these contracts again. Jonathan Taylor going through, which we'll get into a second. But, I'm glad he got paid. And, a part of me is like, there's people starving in the world, and he's crying about 13 million. And I get it. Their shelf life is limited as a running back. They've worked hard to get where they are. It's a limited skill. Like, only so many people on the planet can do what they do. And I get it. But 13 million is a nice chunk of change for 1 year. Obviously, we want the guaranteed money. But I think, let's put it this way. If he crushes it this year, which I don't see any reason why he doesn't, I would say yes. Then you got to make some sort of fight. There's got to be something done here because he's out there like destroying it. Like, why wouldn't you pay the guy? I'd say if he doesn't get paid after this year, I stand by Saquon. Yeah. That's it.
Perfect.
All right, moving on to number 2 here. And I've got some question marks about this guy. Who do we have at number 2?
JT, Jonathan Taylor. So the man of the hour. And so I think he's coming off a disappointing year where he was the consensus number 1 pick. And
where's Connor? Connor, should I bring Connor back for this one? Because he was wrong about this one. I told you, when players finish on top 1 year, they will not finish on top next year. And this is the same thing that's going to be happening this year with Christian CMC McCaffrey. Book it, Gwen. And we could talk about this midseason. You'll say, Joe, almighty Joe, you were right. And I can't wait to hear that. Hold on, let me get back on camera. Joe, almighty Joe, you were right about Christian McCaffrey busting. He got hurt, and we called it. And you say you can't predict injury, but I'm saying what goes up must come down. I called it with Cooper Kupp the year before. Anyways, didn't mean to interrupt. Just had to go off on a tangent. I didn't want to bring Connor back, but there's a lot of passion here. Go ahead, Jonathan Taylor. What do you think?
That's fine. But if you are wrong, you have to come and we have to do an episode in which you announce that you were incorrect.
Oh, I didn't know it worked that way. I thought
it goes both ways. You can't have it. You can't have it one way.
Good point.
But yeah, and he was plagued by injuries last year. And now it's his contract year, and he just in the news we were talking about it a little bit. He requested a trade since the team has no interest in extending him. And I think there's a lot of teams that would love to have him. We were kind of going back and forth before the show. What do you think?
I think that it's going to be trouble. I just, if he ends up on the Chiefs, I'm going to lose it. I have him in one league. I do. I wish he stays on the Colts, but apparently Irsay, what's his name, the owner, is saying that he's not gonna get rid of him. I made a point here. It's when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Like they're gonna be at like this stalemate where it's like, okay, I want to get paid. Well, you're not going to get paid. Well, I want to get traded. Well, you're not going to get traded. Other teams are looking at him. The Chiefs, I heard, like I said, Miami maybe.
Yeah,
Or,
Patriots possibly.
Patriots are such snakes. Just believe in Stevens. They're dying to like just ruin Stevenson's fantasy back. I despise the Patriots. I've never hated an organization like I hate the Patriots. Chiefs come in as a close second. I don't think it's a good home with the Chiefs. Him and Pacheco, Lightning, Thunder, people are saying blah, blah, blah. He needs to be a workhorse. He needs to stay on the Colts. He needs to get paid by the Colts. But he's going into his 4th year. Technically, I think he should finish out the year, play hard, and then ask for a contract. I don't know. Like maybe he just wants to secure himself early. Like I don't get it. It's a contract year. I mean, I don't know. But based on talent and opportunity, this is where I'm a little concerned. I've got him high up here on the rankings, assuming he stays on the Colts and he gets paid, or there's some sort of deal where he has to play hard. Either way, he has to play. So if he's playing on the Colts and he wants to deal with someone else, he's got to play hard. That's how I look at it. Like maybe unless he sits out or something crazy happens. But if he's playing, I would assume am I right here? You can't just dog it. You can't just say, oh, play and just not try because you're going to look bad on other teams, right? I would think.
Yeah, but I think these guys are trying every single time they step on the field. I don't think they're not trying, at least the running backs.
Exactly. So, again, some people are concerned he might hold out. I don't know. At the end of the day, based on talent, opportunity, and a bounce back year, if it's a chart, it's going to be going up this way for him. No way but up for him if he stays healthy. There's no committee there with the Colts. Love the upside. At the time of this recording, Taylor's still on the Colts. I'm going to check my phone and see if there's any breaking news.
Yeah, I checked it while we've been on this. I haven't seen any new stuff that came up.
But it's funny because we record this in the evening and then we release this in the morning. Well, we wake up to the morning of like Dalvin Cook to the Jets and Jonathan Taylor to the Chiefs, and then I'm going to lose it, and this show gets outdated in like
less than 24 hours.
10 hours by the time in the morning. All right.
No. It's the last thing that came out was Colts head coach is hopeful that Jonathan Taylor will suit up. So
suit up, Taylor. Fantasy community relies on you. Suit up. All right, let's go here with
we now have breaking news.
Now, this is breaking to a lot of people who are new to the channel, okay? This is really like breaking news. First overall pick. Nobody's got this guy first overall pick. And when he does finish on top, when he does crush it this year, everyone's going to say, oh, well, we do it. We told you. And CMC's leg is broken or he's out modeling or something stupid. Then you'll know that Byjan will beat CMC in fantasy points. So, sorry, that was your call. Who's my first overall pick? I spoiled it.
Your first overall pick is Bijan Robinson. So he was drafted 8th overall to the Falcons. To the Falcons this year after spending 3 years in Austin at UT, and he was first team All-American, and he won the I don't know if I'm saying this right, Doak Walker Award last year as the best running back in college football, and he put up 1,580 yards on the ground and 314 yards receiving with a total of 20 touchdowns in his last year. I think this guy can really do it all, and I know that you love him, so he's your first pick. Mine would be the opposite.
Did you hear that? That is the sky. That is the rocket going to the ship. Or no, the ship going to the sky. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm excited about Bijan Robinson because Bijan is set for a big year. The Falcons ran the ball over 500 times last year. They drafted him as a top pick. This guy crushed it last year in college, 258 attempts. 18 touchdowns, 19 receptions, 314 yards, couple touchdowns there, couple touchdowns on the ground, well, a bunch of touchdowns on the ground. Listen, it doesn't matter what he did in college because he's gonna crush it. He's gonna get the volume, talent, opportunity. And I watched some plays on this guy in training recently, and he's making some phenomenal moves, like just leaving corners and linebackers in the dust. He's shifty, he's quick, he can catch. He's going to be lining up outside, inside, running in, running out. I'm excited. Now, again, obviously the offense question marks there with Desmond Ridder. I mean, nothing. There's no perfect storm, really. Like, there's no one player that you can look at and say, nothing's going to happen that's wrong. I mean, everybody's got some question mark with them, right? I mean, because maybe Jefferson or something like that could be a perfect player, or Jamar Chase in a good situation. But everyone's got question marks. But I love Bijan, whatever you want to call him, to the moon. That is number one on the top 10 running backs here. RBs. That's it, Gwen. We've got it covered. Should we recap here?
Yes, we should recap. So
We
went from the bottom, or I guess the top. Austin Ekeler was first. Then Breece Hall we had next.
Yeah.
Damion Pierce, Jahmyr Gibbs, Nick Chubby, Najee Harris, Derrick Henry, Penn Stater, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, and your fave, Bijan Robinson.
Bijan to the moon. I got to play that sound effect one more time. Oh, that is blasting off to the next galaxy. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's what CMC is going to do this year.
Listen, I'm excited. Football is here. Grab the 60-round draft solution. We had an appearance with Connor. I mean, August. Football's around the corner. I don't even know what to say other than I'm excited, Gwen. Lots to look forward to. Lots. Too much.
Yes. I can't wait as well. I'm so pumped.
Excited. More about Connor coming back or football?
More, only about football, definitely not about Connor. Connor could never come back, and I would be totally okay with that.
I mean, the guy sang you a birthday song. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, but then he comes on and trash talks you. I don't know. You guys have issues.
Yeah, I'm confused with him. He's very hot and cold.
He's indifferent, mixed feelings.
He's like normal guys right now in 2023. They like you, and then they don't like you, and they ghost you, and then they pop back up. That's Connor.
Maybe there'll be some people in the comments that are interested in not ghosting you. Maybe that'll happen.
Maybe we'll see. I feel like a lot of people in the comments don't even have their profile picture as their face, so I can't even tell what anyone looks like on there.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, that's it, guys. Top 10 running backs. Subscribe, thumbs up. More content coming your way. And this was a big one here. This is non-consensus. Remember that. Don't come and tell me Ekeler's not 10 on the list. I get it. It's non-consensus. All right. Subscribe, thumbs up. Gwen, we are out. Thanks, guys.
Bye.